Hi, welcome to another episode of Brewing Stories with BSEM. In today's episode, we have Mr. Anshul Chauhan, sir. He is the co-founder of RhythmBox. This is a company that has specialized on musical events India-wide with a very special focus on Eastern India. They have been in the business for the last 10, 12 years, where they have been bringing all these global experiences to our doorsteps. Now, so
Hi.
firstly, thank you so much for giving us your time.
Thank you.
And I
Thank
know
you for
you're a
having
very
me.
busy man. Can we begin with a little bit of your background? Like, have you always been a
Sure.
Calcutta person?
Yeah, so I'm
How
a
has it?
Calcutta boy, born and brought up. I did my schooling in La Martiniere in Calcutta. Always been a big supporter and lover of Calcutta and the character it has, personality it has. After I finished my schooling here, I went abroad to the UK to do my college, where I studied business studies in Lancaster University. And then I returned after a couple of years of work in the UK after my college back to Calcutta, where I joined my family business. And the music career was something that came much later.
So, yeah, that brings me to my second question. So, a background in the business, from there to musical festivals, curating musical festivals, and to such extent, what made you come into this field? Was
It
there a
was,
particular event?
yes, there was a particular event. It was not planned at all. It was something that was not on the cards. It was not even in our wildest dreams that we thought, me and my partner, Dhruv Todi, that we'll get into this. It's a funny story, actually. We had gone for a musical event, which is one of the biggest events in the globe, which is Tomorrowland in Belgium. And it was one of the best things that we had ever experienced. It was a life-changing event. 3-4 days of absolute production that is beyond anything that you can ever imagine. All the best artists in the world. So we finished that event and we were on the flight back to India. And obviously, after attending an event like that, your adrenaline is very high. You're kind of excited. At the same time, it's a bittersweet feeling because you're going back to India, especially to Calcutta from Tomorrowland. So we were a little depressed and dejected. And during the course of that long flight, Dhruv and myself chatted, about the possibility, a small possibility of maybe in a small way, getting, even if it was just one of these hundreds of artists that performed in Tomorrowland in Calcutta. And it was this small little dream that we landed with. And, we tried to find common connections and people who he knew and I knew to try and, get hold of an artist and get an event started. So luckily, he had a friend who he was very close to in college, who happened to be running a company called Sunburn. And it was very similar to the kind of music that we had heard in Tomorrowland. So I said, why don't we get on a call with him and try and figure out if there's some work we can do together. So sure enough, 2 months later, we called him. And 1 month later, we had a show on our hands, which was our first ever show, which was back in 2015 with a DJ called Afrojack. And at that time, he was in the charts and he was trending. He was blowing up. So we were very lucky to get an act like that to kind of kick off the journey. So it was something that stemmed from passion, really, more than anything else. It was not to do with any business model or to do with, some kind of a vision we had for many years. It was actually a situation where two boys went for a party and decided that we want to have a party like that in Calcutta.
Choosing an artist for a particular city, depending on the audience, this entire psychology has to be taken into consideration. So why don't you walk us through that?
So there's several parts to the event. It's like it starts with step 1 and then you end with step 10. But step 1 is always, trying to find the right artist to begin with, because your show, your audience, the number of people that you can attract, the level of show, the size of the venue, everything depends on the artist and the artist's requirements. Now, finding the right artist is its own challenge. It does involve a little bit of instinct, a little bit of kind of believing in the artist that you are getting in. However, it does also involve following the current trends, making sure that you're bringing somebody who's either got that nostalgia value,
Yeah.
or who is in currently trending in your charts. At the same time, there's a lot more boring stuff where you kind of go through analytics, ticket sales figures for that same artist in various other cities, various other countries, where they've performed in the past. So it gives you an idea. So for example, if you get an idea of how many tickets an artist sold in Dubai, or even a rough idea, you can scale it down slightly for India and get kind of a guesswork figure that we'll have this kind of a range. It all depends at the end of the day on who the artist is, of course, and his crowd pulling power. We always try to bring somebody who is new. We don't try to repeat artists as well.
Yeah.
So that is also something we try and focus on, is keep making the experiences new and fresh. And so, the audience also feels like, okay, something is coming to Calcutta. This is going to be big. It's going to be new, and it's going to be a memorable experience. Also, in terms of curating artists, it's very important to take the commercial aspect into account. So if you are talking about bringing an artist to a Calcutta or a Bombay or a Delhi or a Shillong, variables change because every market has its own size. So when you compare a Calcutta to a Bombay, you cannot host the same artist that maybe a Bombay will host very easily in a Calcutta. So there are all these little permutations and combinations, but at the end of the day, there have been situations where we've done all of this and still got it wrong.
Yeah.
And there have been situations where we've done all of this and got it right. So there is always an element of
mystery.
You can say fortune, luck, destiny, timing. You know how they say right place, right time, right person, right time. So that applies as well with this.
So speaking of right time, right person, Kanye West. He has very recently
Not involved at all.
very recently had to cancel his shows, right?
Yes.
What do you think could be the reason? Like, if we just have to have a conversation for the sake of it, is it because of his opinions, what he comes with, or is it that India maybe isn't ready to host an artist like
So
that?
I don't think it has to do with his opinions and his ethos and ideologies of life. I think, in fact, it's because of the personality he is and character that he is that he has got that status, where he is today. Of course, his catalog of music is mind blowing. So that's a very strong foundation to have. But currently, he's Ye. He's not even Kanye West anymore.
No.
So he has his own persona, and it's created by the person he is. So I don't think it's about that. It was definitely to do with a couple of things. So Kanye West comes with a huge production, which is obviously manageable considering that India has done Coldplay, India has done Ed Sheeran, India has done big productions, Travis Scott. But with a Kanye West production, it was a very different, whole new ballgame. I mean, if you've seen his production, he has this massive globe that covers the entire ground. So in general, to get something like that organized here in India requires containers and trucks and trucks and truckloads of production material. That was a huge challenge, I think, to begin with. I think the organizers probably did not envisage how big it could be and how big it will get. And at the same time, they promised that they will deliver the same international standard of production.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a challenge for them to, deliver on their commitments and on their promises. So I think that was point number one. And point number two was, at least this is what I heard, is that there was an actual worry and concern for safety. The venue that they had chosen after his production was done and the way the ticket sales were going, they were actually genuinely worried about safety concerns for the audiences. So combination of all these things kind of didn't allow them to go ahead with the show. It had nothing to do with performance of the artist in terms of ticket sales. His sales were fantastic. Uh, Kanye West. So, it was something that was, again, passionately planned by organizers in Delhi. A bunch of people came together to give this gift to India, and it didn't quite work out at this point in time. Not to say that it won't, it will. When organizers get together with such a big passion project, at least I'm like that. I won't sleep till it's done.
Yeah.
And we actually achieve it. So I'm pretty certain that they'll get there and they will achieve it eventually, but not yet.
Sir, you mentioned Kolkata and Kolkata's market a little bit. It's more of a complaint than a question that I believe, I personally, and I'm sure there are lots of people like me, we are also deserving of people like bands like Coldplay coming to us and performing for us.
Definitely deserving.
Even Justin Bieber is, I think, not too big a dream, right?
That is no. So nothing is too big a dream.
Yeah.
We always thought that we'd love to get this artist, we'd love to get that artist, and they were dreams back in the day.
Yeah.
It happened. So nothing is too big a dream. It's a case of there's a lot of infrastructure requirement in Calcutta that is not there. There is a lot of support that is required from your authorities and your government bodies that was not there. It was there, but it was only there to a certain level where, you can bring artists of a certain level. Once you cross that threshold and you go into your Coldplays and Ed Sheerans and things like that, you're talking about economy changing artists that come in, for that 1 week, 3 days leading up to the show and 3 days after the show. That entire week is kind of like a massive boost for the economy of that city.
Yeah.
However, you have to have the availability of hotels, you have to have the availability of lots of transportation, metro systems. More so, you need to have a venue, which is, in these cases, these artists don't even perform without a stadium. So, for example, your Coldplay came to Calcutta. They explored Calcutta.
Oh.
They had sent people from their team to Calcutta who had come with Book My Show, which was the ticketing platform and the company that had done the entire event. And they did their recce's and they did their research about Calcutta because they wanted to hit the east of India. It's not that they didn't. I mean, they performed in Ahmedabad, they performed in Bombay. So it was not that anyone was neglecting Calcutta, but Calcutta was not ready. We didn't get access to the stadiums that, one had hoped that we would get. And the stadiums that they came and approved, we didn't get. So until things get better and, the outlook on concerts and the concept of concert economy, benefiting a state is actually looked at very, very strongly from a financial point of view, that, it's going to be good for our economy. For a single concert, you're infusing hundreds of crores of rupees into that state or that city, for example. So our governments have not seen that potential so far, but who knows? In the future, I definitely think there could be a lot of change coming, a lot of positive things in the future coming up, a lot of different avenues will open up. And like I said, it's a dream to make those kind of artists come to Calcutta and perform. And I will put in my best to make sure that we can make this happen.
Okay, so with that, we will hold on to our hopes of seeing Justin Bieber having Mishti Doi.
Let's start a little lower than Justin Bieber.
It's a request, please understand. You have worked with many international artists and local artists, everyone, the entire spectrum you have covered. Do you think there are differences in how they have to be handled, maybe in terms of hospitality or maybe in their technical requirement? Is there a big difference?
There is. I wouldn't say that there's a difference between Indian artists and international artists in general. It would be unfair to club all of them together and give a sweeping judgment. But I would definitely say that each artist comes with their own challenges, their own requirements, their own needs. If we talk about hospitality, across the board, I think they're all similar because at that level of artist, everybody requires luxury, everybody requires a certain diet, everybody has their own, restrictions of what they can do and what they can't do, their workouts, things like that. So each and every detail we receive and we have to cater to it. When it comes to hospitality riders, you're talking about specifics like, specific cans of drinks, specific soft drinks or the lack of soft drinks.
Could you tell me what's the most bizarre request you've received?
Many. So we've received requests from artists who wanted ganjis, black color, 10 black ganjis. For what? Till this date, I don't know. We've received artists who want Bluetooth speakers, they want footballs, tennis rackets. We've received artists who wanted a beautiful Tollywood actress to take them on a tour of Calcutta.
That was in the requirement.
That was also in the requirement of some of the artists. So there's many kinds of different requirements when it comes to hospitality. Coming to tech riders, again, it's all artist specific. Mostly international artists are a little less flexible with their tech riders because, they have a certain standard of show that they want to maintain. Not that Indian artists don't, but they're slightly easier and more flexible. Mainly, artists abroad have very, very strong teams that kind of envelope them and surround them. And these are professionals who don't take no for an answer. If it's something that they need, something that they want, whether it's a light, whether it's a speaker, whether it's anything, it has to happen. Otherwise the show won't happen, the show won't start. There have been instances in the past where not only to do with an artist's requirement, even with a venue, when they do their last minute checks and they walk around the entire venue and do their inspections, if something doesn't seem right, if there's a safety concern, it could be a railing that's not placed correctly. It could be a platform that's not built correctly. They will not start their show until everything is 100%
according to their liking.
Yeah. So it's more of a catering to individual artists based on their requirements. Each artist comes with their own challenges. I won't say that international artists are more demanding. There are Indian artists that are demanding as well.
I'm sure.
And plus, our Indian artists are no less now compared to international artists. We have the best of the best. So our job is to make sure the artist is happy, whether it's hospitality-wise, whether it's technically, whether it's mentally, because at the end of the day, he has to go on stage and he has to wow our clients.
Crowd,
So,
what do you think? What are the things that makes an artist trust the event planner? How do you gain that trust from the artist or their team from the get-go? What do you have to do? Maybe
track record. I would say track record. I would say your roster of things you've done in the past, how professional you have been. Artists talk as well. Managers talk as well. That there's a show happening in Calcutta. You guys went to Calcutta. How did it go? What was your experiences? So they do their own background checks as well. And, in the initial stages when you're kind of negotiating with artists to lock down a show, for example, they actually ask you questions that you have to prove yourself first to be considered, for an offer to be sent.
Right.
An offer does not come into play until you as a company are vetted first. Your work nowadays in the age of Instagram and social media and all that kind of becomes a little easier because they can just open our pages and they can see what we've done, what artists we've done. And then on that basis, we get the approval and then we can talk to them. Otherwise, they won't even talk to you.
So the biggest question in everyone across every profession is AI. Is it our friend? Is it our enemy? Is it here to just swipe
in this
us
context,
away?
in the concert context?
Do you think it's going to affect this experience and this entire business?
Not at all. I feel AI will add to helping us plan. AI will add to helping us execute, be more creative, brainstorm better, come up with solutions faster, um, and curate better experiences for people. Um, Concerts are more of an experience with human connection. You have people coming together in throngs and hordes, thousands and thousands and thousands of people coming together in one small place and sharing that same experience with that one artist, whether it's singing a chorus of their favorite song together, or just dancing on a hook step that they've seen in a video of that artist. These are priceless experiences. These are not experiences that one can gain from on a computer screen or with AI or with VR. It's not possible. So I would say it's the opposite. In fact, I feel like in today's world where AI is taking over, it's the age of information and technology. This is a scarcity. This is something that will keep pulling people towards it. You might be in front of a screen achieving the whole world using AI for 64 days of the year. But that one day of the year, you will crave that human connection, as to feel as one group. It kind of transcends anything else. It creates moments that you remember forever. For example, for me, if you ask me, I don't remember a work project or something that I've achieved in my career as much as those amazing moments that I have experienced in concerts myself as a customer, as somebody who's attending a concert. So, for example, the Coldplay concert in Bangkok was my second time. I had been to their concert in Thailand as well, in Bangkok. But being in India and seeing people from our country singing along to that production, to that music, to those songs, that's a memory that will stay with me forever. It will never ever leave my mind. So those are the memories that these concerts can create. AI will not be able to stop that. In fact, I feel like people will, be seeking out those experiences more than ever. Because human interaction and connection, as the days are going by, is
becoming a
is
scarcity.
depleting. Is depleting.
Absolutely.
So I think it's not going to be a bad thing. It's going to be a good thing. It's going to help us curate better experiences, and people are going to come and enjoy them.
It's one of the biggest concerns because there are lots of students who come who are very passionate about music and and this whole experience that they go to these concerts and come back with. And they want to replicate that and they want to make that. Okay. The biggest concern that they face, they think that they are facing, is the commercial aspect. Because it's a big gamble in that sense. No? So how do you want students who are listening to you today to go about that, to go about this entire field? How do you want them to approach it?
So doing a concert is not a situation where somebody solely puts his money into it and then gambles with his own money completely. Concerts are a massive cumulative effort of a whole bunch of people coming together, financially as well. You have lots of sponsors that come in. Sponsorship for each event is something without which no event can be executed in India, especially. You might have a situation abroad where 50,000-60,000 people show up paying $500 per ticket, in which scenario you don't need any sponsorships, you don't need anyone else. Somebody can literally invest his own money and make money out of it. But here in India, it doesn't work like that. Ticket pricing is very sensitive. It's a sensitive market. People may not even have that disposable income in 50,000s or 60,000s, of people. So everyone looks for a better deal. They look for a bargain. They're trying to kind of get the best bang for their buck. Right? So it's not very easy to break even for an organizer here because ticket prices are lower than abroad for sure. However, that gap is filled in by sponsorship, by, your food and beverage sales and things like that, your collaborations, your tie-ups that you do with all brands, lots of brands. And obviously that is based on, again, the artist and the type of event. So if you have an Indian artist, you approach Indian brands, brands that are local. They like to associate with these kind of events where Indian artists for Indian fans. Then you have other bigger companies, that are multinational companies that look at investing in sponsorship amounts for international artists that draw a different category of crowd. So a sponsor will look at what kind of crowd is coming to this event, what's the age demographic, and accordingly, do they use our product?
Yeah.
Will they use our product in the future? And then they come and associate with us. Without the sponsors being involved, there's no way any event in India can make money. So my advice to the students and the youngsters who are, kind of looking at this as a career in the future is you have to start with working with events to understand the entire atmosphere and the ethos behind what an event entails. It's not just about buying an artist and putting him up on a stage. It is a lot of partnerships, a lot of collaborations that kind of make it a machine that runs and is viable. You have to keep plugging away at learning. From year 1 to now, year 11, we are still learning every day. And we made so many mistakes back in the day, which we try not to make now. And we've understood a lot more than we knew before. So my advice would be is learn, get to grips with the industry, get to grips with events. Even it means you're starting right from the bottom. We're managing food and beverage for an artist, for example. Even that small role plays a major role. You're surrounded by people who are planning events. You're having crisis meetings. You're having regular meetings on a daily basis, and you're learning from everybody. Each person has their own role. Of course, they all report to somebody, but at the end of the day, you're learning about everyone's role on a daily basis just by being in the room. So the most important thing is being present, plugging away, learning, and eventually you'll hone your craft and you'll understand the industry more and more, and you'll get to where you have to.
At Brewing Stories with BACM have this segment which we call the Jugaru moment, because event planners are what? Jugarus. Right? That's what we are known for. So I would like to hear your Jugaru moment where you thought, okay, this is done.
This is
But
done.
then you came back and...
No, so Jugaru moments are, like you said, constantly you are problem solving. Events are, you can plan an artist, you can plan for everything, you can have the best ticket sales, but on the day of the event, you're minute to minute, you're problem solving, Today, for example, you're having an event, the lights have gone off in one section, the alcohol is not available in another section. On the stage, the LED screen, one section of it is not working. So there can be 100 different things that go wrong. So one such small incident that just comes to mind. It was in one of our shows. So you have your regular crowd, that is your standing crowd, and then you have a VIP platform on the left and a VIP platform on the right for your VVIPs and table buyers who buy all-inclusive tickets with F&B. So one such concert on one such platform, we had a situation where one corner of that platform collapsed in the middle of the show. So right in the middle of the show, I remember I had my walkie-talkie earpiece inside and everything was fine and everyone was enjoying and everyone was doing their work. And on every channel on that walkie-talkie, everything was perfect. And then suddenly I heard shouting and screaming on the earpiece. And every channel I would go to, everyone was shouting and screaming on those channels. And I realized that one of the platforms had collapsed. Now, in the middle of a show, you cannot get people in to fabricate a new platform or to fix your platform. So we had to think of a jugaad. So the jugaad was, we sent out a truck a small little truck that was backstage. We sent it out to the local shop that sold soft drinks, bottled soft drinks. And they had these crates, which they use for putting empty bottles,
Right.
which is something that we've always had back in the day. कि अपना शीशी का बोतल खत्म करो और फिर उसको return करो दुकान को. So for some reason that came into my head, and we sent this vehicle there across, and he picked up about 100, 150 of those crates, which we obviously had to buy, but at a nominal cost. And within, I'd say, 20 minutes, we had those crates stacked up, and the platform was back up.
And people had no idea there.
The people that fell knew they had fallen.
No, but that
when
they're standing on
we
those.
covered it up, and so nobody
Wow.
knew how it was fixed. They thought that we had done a
Magic.
a magic job.
That's amazing.
And so yeah, that was our little jugadu moment. But things like this keep happening, and you have to keep problem solving. That's it.
That is amazing. And yeah, that is really brave. We will be discussing in the further episode more such stories. So keep your eyes on this. And if you also have any further questions, drop it in our DM or mail it to us. It will be given in the caption.